From the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C.
I'm Jennifer Gavin, and I'm the project manager for the National Book Festival from the Library of Congress. And on behalf of the Librarian of Congress, the team at the library that oversees the book festival, and the 1,050 volunteers who've been on the grounds yesterday and today to make sure you have a good experience, welcome. I'm also asked to let you know that on behalf of the Library of Congress, before we begin, we need to inform you that the presentation today will be filmed for the Library of Congress's website and for our archives. Please be mindful of this as you enjoy our presentation, and please don't sit on the camera risers that are located at the back of the room. Thanks. Today it's my great privilege to introduce this year's National Book Festival poster artist, Suzy Lee. This award-winning author and illustrator was born in Seoul, South Korea, and her books have been published internationally in many languages. In 2010, her book, Shadow, was selected as a Best Illustrated Children's Book by the New York Times. Her book, Wave, was chosen in 2008 as a Best Children's Book by both School Library Journal and the Publishers Weekly. Her most recent work, in addition to our most popular poster, which I hope you'll all get a copy of before you go home, ladies and gentlemen, Suzy Lee.
Hello, everybody. Hi. Thank you very much. And I'm really honored to be here among artists, great writers, and most of all, great readers. Thank you very much. Well, yes, I made this poster. Did you like it? Yeah. Thank you. I like it too. I am living in Korea at the moment, and National Book Festival team thankfully called me to fly in here to join this wonderful event. Before I returned to my home country, Korea, last year, I lived in Singapore, and before then, I lived in Houston, Texas, for a while. That was my first time to come to USA, and I met great people in Houston, and I had a really good time there. So just before I left Houston, I finished my book Wave, and I submitted the project to Chronicle Books. And luckily it got published, and then I did 2 more books with them. And the latest book, Open This Little Book, written by wonderful Jesse Klausmeier, led me to do this poster for this great occasion. So Jennifer Gavin, the organizer of the festival, said she saw my Open This Little Book, and she said the illustration in the last page of this book inspired her, which is this, the Forest Library. And some of my friends said it's going to be very fun if I make it really big, like a poster, and then give it away to the libraries and book lovers, then that would be wonderful. And when the festival organizer asked me to do the poster job, well, I felt my wish had come true. So everything we need regarding the book is here. So we need tree to sit on, we need branches to put our favorite books on, and good weather, like today, and good friends sharing our books. So, and there's a festival, and we need lots of colors for the festival, right? So animals are, like in my bag, doing everything regarding the books that you can do with your books. So you're reading books, chewing books, swallowing books, and doing some acrobatics with books, you know. Whatever they do, I'm sure that everybody in the poster enjoyed their moment. And here are some pre-sketches. And then the sketches developed it like this. And if you see it closely, you can find all the animals from Open This Little Book. I'm wondering how many people here saw this book, but this book works like this. So if you open the book, there is a book inside. And if you open the book again, there's a book inside again, and another, and another, and then another, and so on. So let's have a look a little bit of this book. So I'm just reading the first few pages. Open this little red book and read about Ladybug, who opens little green book and reads about Frog, who opens a little orange book, and reads about Rabbit, who opens little yellow book, and reads about Bear, who opens little blue book, and reads about Giant, who, oh no, Giant can't open her little book because her hands are way too big. So Giant's friends open her little rainbow book and read a story about, and so on. And at some point, they start closing the book. But anyway, the biggest book is read by the smallest ladybug, and the smallest book is read by the giant. By the way, this giant is female. Okay. Well, children just love to see the rainbow strip when the double pages are all spread open. And but for the grown-up readers, well, they can. Well, they also like the rainbow strip, but they can read a little bit further. I read some reviews, and I found that they like two facts in common. They are, first, it's a book about a book. Second, it's a book within a book. So that the idea of book within a book, picture within a picture, dream within a dream within a dream, sounds always fascinating. So let's say you woke up from a dream and you find out you're still dreaming. So your dream is like part of bigger dream, and your story is part of another dream. You may record the movie Inception, right? Yeah. And before then, there's Alice in Alice in Wonderland. Remember, all the Alice's adventure was in her dream. So there are so many editions of, you have to go, yeah, until the Alice's cover comes up. One more. Yeah. I made my version of Alice in Wonderland when it was my master project in book arts when I was studying in London. And later it got published by Edizioni Coraini, the Italian publisher. Same as Open This Little Book, it was a book about a book and dream within a dream. So Alice meets the white rabbit. So it's like Alice is a reality and the white rabbit is like an illusion. So then they chase each other, and that was the relationship between the illusion and reality. That was kind of starting point of my journey to the picture book. So in my Alice book, there's a page where Tweedledee and Tweedledum present like this. Yeah. And it's really small, but you can see the Tweedledum and Tweedledee in the middle, right? So they are twins, and as you know, they are like mirror image of each other. So therefore, although they look the same, but they act in opposite ways, so naturally they fight all day. So I place each of the twins on a separate page with the centerfold in the middle as if they were the reflection of the other. So the one side page can be a mirror So I liked that idea very much so I made a book titled Mirror after that. So that was it. So a girl is sitting on the right page, and she's surprised to find her reflection on the other side of the page. Scared but curious at the same time. And then the two become friends, and their hearts connect and bloom like flowers. And they are having a good time. But after all, it's a kind of tragic story at the end. And you have to find out by yourself. So children just enjoy playing with mirror. So just like this. Will you play the movie, please, after that? Well, the girl playing with mirror is my daughter, and the boy who is laughing like crazy is my son. I found this fold, you know, between the two pages of the book is very interesting. So the center binding fold works as a border of fantasy and reality, physically as well as conceptually. So a few years later, I decided to continue this subject. And at that time, I was in Houston, and I and my husband sometimes drove to the Galveston beach. And one day I was looking at children and grown-ups alike playing with waves. They chased after the waves and ran away from the waves. So it's a kind of universal scene that you can find everywhere in the beach. And I thought there is kind of border between children and the waves, and I think I can make a book out of it. So I made Wave Book. And after Wave, I decided to make one more book to make them as a trilogy. So Mirror and Wave has the same size, and the third book should be in the same size too. So Mirror is vertical and opens to the side, and the Wave is horizontal and opens to the side. And what's left? The third book should be, in the same size. It's horizontal like Wave, but this time opens bottom to top. That's a shadow. So there's another word that we don't know. Okay. So all these three books share the same theme, the border of fantasy of reality. And actually, I believe the fantasy and the reality exist together at the same time and happen at the same time. So in the space of a book, as in the children's mind, the children, they never draw a line between the fantasy and reality. And since I told everybody that I'm so interested in book about a book, so I even wrote an essay about my trilogy book. So my editor in Chronicle Books suggested the project, which is really book about a book, and even physically book inside a book. And that was this Open This Little Book. And thanks to this Open This Little Book, I had wonderful opportunity to make poster and to come to this festival. So everything's connected. Thank you. And if you you have any question, I'm happy to answer.
Why did the wolf cry in shadow? Why did the wolf cry in shadow?
Why the wolf is crying? What do you think?
Because he got scared?
Yeah, scared. Right, that's correct. And also, the wolf is the girl herself. So she feels scared, but because the girl is wolf and the wolf is girl, well, they should be, not in fight, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. Hello. Okay. Yeah.
I'm a writer from Taiwan. I'm interested in how did you get your first book to publish in the United States?
My books. Well, I at the time I was living in Houston. I said, and because I was in USA, I want to try the US publisher. So I just submitted my dummy of Wave book to the publisher just directly, and they looked at it, and they decided to publish it. So well, I was lucky.
Okay, my second question is
Yeah.
before you publish your first book in the United States, have you ever published any book in your home country, Korea?
Yes, I did quite a few books in Korea. And after I studied in London, the Alice in Wonderland book was published in Italy. And then it branches out, so I worked with the European publisher as well, before Wave as well. Yeah,
Thank you very much.
no problem.
Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering what artists influenced you, and you seem to be heavily influenced by movies as well.
Well, the idea of book about a book and something like that. Well, I like Bruno Munari, who is Italian designer and picture book artist as well. Well, he is really interested in book as a medium, not just a medium that carries the story, but book itself is his main interest, and I share the interest as well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I love your stories, but why do you choose to write wordless stories?
Right, where's the story? Because this picture book really doesn't need a word. Some story is really best told when there is no word, right? Like good friends, they don't need a word to communicate and share our minds, really. So sometimes I start with a particular image. There's no story in my mind, but I just want to draw some image and put the other image before and after, and sometimes I make story. And in case of the shadow book, it was really started by the thinking about book format. So as I said, it should be opening like bottom to top, then there's top word and there's bottom word, and one side is the real word and the other side can be some kind of imaginary word. What can you think about it? Then the shadow just pop up from in my mind. So that's it. Okay?
How do you think of ideas for the book?
Pardon?
How do you think of ideas for the book?
Okay. Ooh. Well, I always carry my sketchbook and I write and I draw everything that I'm interested in. So sometimes the sketchbook is my source book, and also my books, the previous books, are my sources too. So when I make Alice book, I happened to have the idea of mirror, and mirror makes wave, and wave makes shadow, something like that. Okay, thank you. Hey,
I really like open this little book.
thank you. Thank you very much. I like it too. Okay.
We have a question in wave. What is the girl's hand doing on this
Right,
page?
right, right,
We always
yeah.
get this question.
I know.
What does it do? What does it do?
He was asking about this page. Where is the girl's hand?
No, what is the girl's hand doing?
Our hand's doing.
What is
Well, I have this question often, actually, and one of the bookshop owner emailed me about this book, this page. What happened? Is it printing error, or have we missed any point? Well, actually, it's not the printing error, and a good question. Actually, I was very interested in the middle of the book. You know, there is a center binding fold, but everyone ignores that point, right? It's just the one space they are thinking. And I wanted to focus in the middle, so I want to say it's a kind of border of dream and real. So the girl is entering the fantasy world, and there should be something like gap between that. It's not that easy to enter the fantasy world, is it? So that's why I did image like that. Okay.
How many sketchbooks have you gone through?
Well, I think it's less than 100. I'm sorry, but it's quite many. Okay.
Why were there books in a book? And how did you get that idea?
Okay. But do you paint? Do you draw?
I like to paint and I like to draw.
Right. Do you like books?
Yeah,
Yeah.
even my sissy.
Right. So that's why I am making picture books, right? I like drawing and I like books. And since I'm drawing on books, I got to be interested in books. If you're a painter, you have to know much about the canvas and painting, the papers. But in my case, it's a book, so I'm so interested in my medium. Yeah, I have to know about book. Yeah. Any question you have?
Well, everything. I like all of your books, and I appreciate it to come.
Right. Thank you very much. Okay. We have 5 more minutes, but do you have any more questions? Okay.
Hi, I'm a librarian from Louisiana,
Okay.
and I was privileged to email with Jesse Klausmeier this summer, and
Oh, yeah.
she's going to Skype with our students.
Mm-hmm.
How did y'all work together? How did you get in touch with her? Did y'all work together, or was this done like through her publisher? You were chosen for her artwork.
Right. Jess was the first-time author, I heard, and her manuscript was kept by the Chronicle book editor for quite a little time. And then this editor suggested me to work together. So we start working together, and it takes a long time to reach the goal we really share. So we changed the text, we changed the picture by the text, And it was a hard job, but eventually, yeah, it got published, and it's a nice book, really.
She said she wrote the book when she was 5 years old,
Right, yeah, I heard that.
and now it's just finally being published. So
Yeah,
she's so
yeah.
excited. So you can be an author at 5 years old. It just takes a while sometimes to get it
Yeah,
published.
that's great, really.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Okay. Oh, yeah, one last
did
question.
you say about people doing opposite things?
Oh, well, yeah, we do, right?
But why do they do opposite things?
Why? Can you ask me once again?
Why do they do opposite things?
Right. I think you have to answer this question. Do you do? Do you do opposite things?
Yes.
Yes. Why?
I don't know.
Well, I was in Brazil for a workshop with children, and one of the boy asked me the same question: why the girl in the mirror doesn't do exactly same thing like the other side of the girl? So I asked him, "What do you think?" And he said, "Well, because we are children and we don't want to do the same thing every day." And I think that was a brilliant answer, really. Okay.
So my students in a lower school, they've all been studying your poster the last week. It's
Mhm.
fantastic.
Thank you.
And are the three, I'm seeing book within a book, are Shadow and your other books shown there that I'm just not seeing them? Like, do you have it looks like that's book within a book right there.
Yeah.
And then are your other books in it? Did you put the other Shadow and Mirror and Wave in the poster?
Well, I tried to. Well, actually, this girl is from Wave, I could say.
Okay.
Well, in Wave, she has a little bit longer hair. But anyway, she has a blue dress after all. So it's a girl from the Wave.
Okay.
And I particularly open this little book page here.
It's a fantastic poster. The kids adore it. So thank you very much.
Thank you very
It will
much.
hang for a whole year in
Oh,
the
yeah.
library and all the
Thanks.
classrooms.
Okay, that's great. Actually, I'm so happy to see my drawings all over in the National Mall. It seems like I felt it's my festival, really. Thanks to you guys. Thank you very much. That's it.
This has been a presentation of the Library of Congress. Visit us at loc.gov.